I also think that if Jake Paul was, and I think both of them did a great job. I mean,
It
it's
was.
not
It
a
was
knock.
entertaining. Super
I
entertaining.
I think if Jake Paul were 4 inches shorter, Tyrone Woodley would have fucking destroyed him.
I didn't
And
understand.
it makes me feel like size is a really, really big factor. I think we saw it in the Mayweather Logan Paul, and now we've seen it in this. And what do you think?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, like a
size is.
huge factor.
I didn't realize how much of a factor it would be until just kind of like hearing. I hear my coaches saying it. Like they were very worried about Jacob's weight, very worried. Like they kept being like, "You got to get him to come down. You got to get him to come out." And I kept telling him, like, "Listen, at the end of the day, we're gonna on September 18th. He's gonna step on the scale, and I'm gonna step on the scale, and then we're gonna step into a ring. So it doesn't really
Well, look at
matter."
look at even Manny Pacquiao, the guy he fought.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Manny, in my opinion, that was a bad deal for Manny. That guy was too big. Manny needs to be fighting people 10 pounds lighter than that.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So go ahead.
Manny Pacquiao's also 42 years old. I mean, that was
I mean, isn't that how old you are?
55. I'm 52.
Oh, 52, right.
Yeah, don't worry.
I've had a couple sparring matches going back to your your conditioning question. I had a couple of sparring matches, and at the end of it, a lot of guys would come up to me because that's the beauty of the sport, right? And I'm sure I've never done a combat sport like wrestling, and I'm sure Josh can attest to this. But what I do love about it is at the end of it, you can hug and be buddies, assuming no one cheap shotted you, and it's a good match, right? But that's what I've really enjoyed about the idea is I can hit you in the face, and at the end of it, we can go out and have a coffee if you really freaking want to. But when we got done with it, a couple of the guys had come up to me and been like, "Man, you're in really good shape. Like, that's going to be such a huge pivotal thing in the fight." And I was like, "You don't understand. Like, if we are both in good shape, it's null and void. It's really not going to matter." Like, people don't understand because they look at me and think, "Well, you've been boxing for, like 5 months barely. Like, you're in great shape." Yeah, but it's because of what I did before this that really allowed me to do that. And it's not like Josh is sitting around not conditioning. Like, we're going to both have the same amount of conditioning when he stepped into that ring.
What is the weight you guys are fighting at?
Whatever we weigh that day.
Yeah,
So there's no weight set yet.
No.
Doesn't sound
They
like it's going
actually-
to be.
I honestly like when Coop first called me and I signed the contract. I've never done something like this, so I didn't know how this worked, and there was never a weight concern in the contract until we got past it, and they were like, "Hey, Jake, how much do you weigh?" And I'm like, "It's on the CrossFit Games website. I'm like 200 pounds." And then I quickly realized I was like, "Wait, how have I never really thought of Josh like how look at your competitors in CrossFit space and be like, oh, Josh is 5
Right.
whatever and weighs 170 pounds. You don't think about those things. Instead, it's like, how much can Josh snatch or how much can this person clean? And so I didn't really know my competitor's weight until later, and I'm like, oh, that was like 30 pounds or 30, 40 pounds. So, but we've steadily just lost weight just because, like Josh knows, it's a freaking sweat fest where you change your clothes and we're not lifting weights anymore. There's no purpose of me lifting weights. Like, I don't need to have strong legs. I need to be fast. And that's not